Okay, it's Sunday afternoon, just a few hours before the markets open here, and we're looking at the S&P 500. There's a few things going on here on my chart. These red lines, the vertical lines, and the blue lines, those are an indicator called backfill. And backfill gives you it gives you this. There's a couple of functions to it. One is it gives this buying and selling pressure. So it's contrarian. So when the market's dropping, that's where you'll see it said there was buying pressure here and here, and then there was, and then buying pressure here and here, and there was, and then buying pressure here and here, and then a big rally. And then there was some selling pressure that started here, and that kind of built up. And then of course we had the selling pressure there, and then that ended up being the high of the day. And then there's these vertical lines that are the active ones. I have the ones that are historical, I have those hidden. But you can see these red lines. These are prices that didn't get filled yet. So part of backfill is it will give you sort of where the market skipped over these areas and needs to come back and fill an area. And that actually has analytics in it. So you can see over, I think we have 365 days loaded on this chart. There's 1,300 levels. And it is different depending on what chart you put it on. So if I put it on a day chart, that'll look different than if I put it on a 5-minute chart or a tick chart or an hour chart. So those will look different. Anyway, they have a 67% fill rate. And here, let me just change that. I really wasn't going to go over backfill, but I've had some questions about it. So I'll just show you what this looks like on here. We'll enable the historical lines. So okay, so you can see right here, this was a price that populated 27.52, and then they came back and filled it. And so these just have a very high fill rate, 27.23. See, all these, they came back and filled. So I have those turned off so you don't see all the ones that got filled already. But basically, those are just, if I'm shorting, let's say I'm shorting up here, I'm looking for this would be a target area that I know is a high probability that they want to come back to. And then there's not been a lot of these, but there's a blue one that they dropped and came back up to. Let's see what else. Anyway, you can see, so there's some of these, and some of them take a while, like this 2552 area that was there for a few days before they came back and filled it. There's a number of ways to trade that. You can trade options that are a little bit out of the money and ride back into it, or just a number of different things you can do with it. So anyway, that's a little bit about backfill. You can see, though, it has a 99% fill rate and over 1,300 levels. So over 20 days, 96% of these levels are going to be filled within 20 days. That's pretty great. So what you could look at is that, as an example, and I'm not giving you trading advice here, but as one thing that you could do is when you have a level that populates, you could buy an option that didn't expire. Maybe it was 60 days out or 30 days out or whatever. And as it starts to move, you could buy something closer in the closer expiration. And then as we move away and some of these prices haven't been filled. So if we go back over to, here's a good example of one. So this populated on the 7th. Over here overnight. This populated on the 7th at 2671. And what you could have done is you could have, as this moved up into here, you could have, and then we had 2699, so you could have bought a put targeting here and a put targeting here. Now yes, you would have had these and those would have gotten closed out pretty quick, and so may not have been very big winners, may not have won anything actually, depending on how far out the expiration was and how far out of the money or in the money you bought if you don't trade options. But so basically, as it starts moving up, as it moves further away, you're buying a put knowing that it's going to come back here. So this one actually happened in the same day. So if you'd have bought a put over here, this moved from up here, this moved about 80 points down to here, and that all happened in the same day. So you could have bought a put as this was moving up here, and then there's some profit, and then there's the rest of your profit. Anyway, So that's a little bit about how you can do that. But here's what I really wanted to get into. And if you want to learn more about the backfill, you can go check that out. And then the only other thing I'll point out here before I jump into what I want to show you is what you can use going into today. This is key turns, just in case you have any questions about that. Above it, we want to be long, and below it, we want to be short. You can see here Friday, we tested below it, came right back up, held up above it, and came back up here. So again, we broke, came back, came up here, had a nice, real nice rally, 50 points or something off of that. We had a big move up off of here. So anyway, there's you can check that out as well. You can go check out daytradelikeapro.com/DOP. That'll pull up the key turn level, and then backfill, daytradelikeapro.com/backfill, or just go to daytradelikeapro under tools for traders. And then our infamous prediction points. So here we have the orange lines and the blue lines, and to really put this simple, the market's going to move from blue lines to blue lines, and then above here we're targeting up to here, and then we didn't get the rest of that movement yet up here. So here's our next blue line up here. So what we're looking at is the prices that are going to be good for Sunday Globex and Monday during the session until the regular trading hours close. So let's go through a couple of scenarios. Now I do these pre-market planning scenarios for our live trade signals. And if you haven't ever been a part of the live trade signals, you can come trade with us for a couple of weeks. We'll see if you are a good fit. You'll see if you're a good fit. But you get to trade side by side with some pretty extraordinary traders. So let's dive in here for a second. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. Key turns is going to change when we reopen for the Globex session for Sunday. So that will change. We closed right up about here. Of course, we would need to get above 2,800, but let's talk pullback scenario first. So if we don't get up above 2,800 and can't hold up there, we're going to get some more pullback. So if it's extremely strong, we might only pull back to here, or we might not get any pullback. We'll just see how the open goes, and we'll adjust accordingly. But I want to give you a few scenarios that you can plan around. So first thing here is that we could easily see some pullback here, and then pull back down to the 63 area. Now, if we pull back further than 63, very possible that we come, probably not just there, probably here or there would be more likely. And then if we can't hold here, worst case, if we can't hold here, then we're going to get some more pullback down into here. This is 27.23 and 27.14, so down into that area. And then if we don't hold there, then there's quite a bit more selling that could happen, 26.80, and then below that, huge gap down here, down to 26.27. So none of that's the most likely scenario, but definitely want you to have that. Now let's talk about the other side. So we can get up above 2,800, 28.30. That's definitely what we're looking for in the more short term here. We got to go way back here to see about if we've been this high. Now, when I say none of this, let's go back here real quick. When I say none of that scenario for that bigger selling, I mean there are things that have to break. So it doesn't mean that we can't get short and play short from here down to lower, and it doesn't mean we won't play that. It just means before we start really looking for the bottom to fall out of the thing, there's some things that are going to have to happen first for that to happen. So it could happen, and we're gonna trade whatever is on the table at the time. So 28.30, that seems, sort of the first area that we would go up to, and then we've got 28.52 area. And then if they can get stronger than that up above there, they haven't been back up to retest this. I mean, 2,900, somewhere in this area. We're gonna somewhere between. There's a lot of prices right here. If we were to get up here somehow, if it were really that strong, and we were to push up here like that, then and we could get above here and hold, it would have to be extremely strong. Otherwise, we're looking for some selling. So watch this 28.30 area. Watch this 28.52 area. certainly need to watch up these two to see. So if we can get up above here, it starts getting a lot stronger for a push higher. And you know, the idea is we're going to trade from blue line to blue line. We can add the other prices as we're moving. And anyway, so there you have. I doubt this will change much. We'll see how the overnight session goes. I doubt this will change much from now until the overnight. And so there you have the pre-market. That's for Sunday night from Monday. And if you're in the live trade signals, then I'll see you there in the morning. And otherwise, go check it out. And I'll put a link here below this video and you can see what it's all about.